Hey you guys, let's talk about the 3 ways you can dramatically increase your credit score from the 500s to the 800s in a legal, non-scamish way. Okay, let's talk about the first one. The first one, you need to get your free credit report. So you should Google and find a legitimate website to get your credit report for free. There are 3 credit bureaus. So you want to get it from all 3 if you can. If you can only get it from 2, then just do the best you can. Once you get your free credit report, you're going to want to make sure to check and see if there's any errors. Make sure there's no discrepancies, no incorrect information. Make sure that whatever the negatives are on your credit report are accurate, and if they're not, you need to challenge that with the credit bureau, and you can do that for free as well. But that's like a completely separate topic in a completely separate video to even get deeper into that, but make sure that everything's correct. So once you know, okay, let's say that your credit score is 530, everything on there that's negative is accurate and correct, anything positive is correct, you can go to the next step. The next step I would suggest is don't go back into the past. What do I mean by that? You want to focus on building your credit more than trying to kind of recover it and trying to fix with the mistakes you've already made. We know about that 7-year rule. And for most, I would say about 90% of things that are on your credit report follow that 7-year rule, which means if you have something negative, let's say an involuntary car repossession on your credit report from, we'll say 2021, as of this recording is 2025, so that's 4 years old. I personally, this is from my personal, viewpoint, I would not pay for any debts that are 4 years or older. You want to, I'm just a random black chick on YouTube, okay? You want to go on Google and research this for yourself. That's what I did. Also, you can see a lawyer, which is also what I did as well. Okay, so that is the rule of thumb I would go with. I would not pay for any debts that are older than 4 years old, because we know within 7 years it comes off your credit report. Okay, and so that way it helps increase your credit score just from that alone, because it's falling off your credit report. We know the exceptions are judgments, bankruptcies, student loans, so things like that, that 7-year rule doesn't really work for certain things like that, for example. But again, you want to verify what I'm saying and double check for yourself to make sure that's accurate. So that is the second part, is to basically do not try to go back in the past and fix those mistakes, especially if they're old debts, because they're going to fall off anyway. Okay, now part of that too is you want to build it up. Like I said earlier, you want to build up your credit. What does that look like? You're like, well, I can't get a credit card. I can't get a good auto loan. They're going to charge me crazy amount of interest rate because my credit score is so low. We're going to go with the 530 number, right? Yeah, that's true. You're not going to get a good deal. You're not going to get a good interest rate because of that. But you can get something to help build your credit now, and that is a secure credit card. A secure credit card is different from other credit cards. We know that a secure credit card is a card that you have to put in collateral. You have to give them something physical that they can take from you. That's why it's called secured, right? So for example, you can go to a bank or credit union and ask for a secure credit card, or even Google it and find a legitimate credit bureau or bank that you can get a secured credit card from, and maybe it's like $300 or $500 is your credit limit. You're going to be paying them $300 or $500. You're going to be paying for the amount of your credit limit in cash to them. This shows them that, hey, we have nothing to lose to give you a credit line, because let's say that you get this charged off or you default on this credit card, we have collateral, because we don't trust you because your credit's bad, or we don't trust you because you don't have any credit. So this also works for people who don't have credit either. So that is what I would suggest to start building your credit. Your credit's bad or there's no credit, then what you need to do is focusing on building it. So get a secured credit card. And then after a while, when you get that secure credit card, they start to trust you. It might take a year to 2 years. Then they'll actually give you your money back. They'll give you your money back, and then you'll have an unsecured credit card. The best way to do this, in my opinion, is to pay your balance off in full every month. Do not be late. Do not go over your credit limit. And eventually they will trust you, and hopefully with time, they will give you back the money that you put into the credit card, and it will become unsecured. Another suggestion would also be, do not go more than 20% of your credit line. The lower the better. If you can do less than that, that's even better, because it's going to help increase your credit score, it's going to help improve your credit report, and it's going to help you build a healthy habit in the future. So this will really help you. Now, I do want to go back and say certain things you do not necessarily want to ignore when it comes to debt on your credit. So when I was saying that earlier, I mean things that are like charge-offs from a credit card, or an auto loan that you defaulted on, different things like that. You don't want to ignore things like student loans or judgments, because those things are going to bite you in the butt in the long run, in the future, because judgments will basically garnish your wages. So you don't want to ignore those kinds of things in your credit report. You don't want to ignore student loans, because again, they can garnish your wages. But we can talk about that maybe in another video, because I feel like the second option I'm mentioning has a lot of details in it. But that is the second thing you can do. The third thing is honestly time. It's time, and it sucks, but that's the reality of it. I just know there's so many different scams. There's different like companies and things. Some of them may be scammers, some of them may be not. But my personal story, I'll go through it briefly. I was at a risk of having charged off credit cards on my credit report. This is many years ago. So I contacted a company to help them negotiate terms with the credit card company. And what I didn't know is that the credit card companies don't talk to these third-party people. They only want to talk directly to me. And so while I was waiting all these weeks and hearing about the negotiations going back and forth, well, in reality, my credit card, the credit card companies I was working with that I had, debt with, didn't talk to them. And I wound up having my stuff become charged off. So I wound up having a negative, bad dings on my credit report because I trusted some company to help me with my debt. You need to talk directly to the creditors. You need to talk to them directly and have an agreement with them directly. Or if you're a little nervous and you don't feel like you know how to do that, you can also talk to a lawyer, or even do some Google research and go to like some legitimate websites and things and figure it out. So yeah, time is the number one thing I would say, because we know with the 7-year rule, things fall off. I wouldn't do those quick schemes where they're saying we can boost your credit score by 150 points in 60 days, 90 days, 6 months. Most likely those are scams, and they're charging you for that, and they just run away with your money. I don't know of any legitimate company, any legitimate business that can actually do that for you. And hey, if you know of them, maybe you can share them in a comment section below. Maybe it could help. But I honestly know, from my experience, it's time. If you have bad credit, it's going to take several years for it to get back to normal. Maybe the exception might be that say that you had identity fraud, right? And you have something like LifeLock or some type of company like that. Maybe they can help restore your credit a lot quicker, because maybe you have evidence to show that that your identity has been compromised, and so someone used your information without your permission, and then maybe they can get those negative things off of your credit report, get those things removed, and then your credit starts to shoot up pretty quickly. That to me will be the only exception to the rule of having to, you know, have your credit score go up really fast. It takes years. I'm just being honest, it takes years. I have personal experience with my credit as well as doing my own research. I've also talked to a lawyer in the past about different things about credit and debt. So this is what I'm sharing, what I know from my own personal experiences and research. So anyway, I hope this video helps you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.